Welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm Chris.
And I'm Miranda.
Have you guys been outside? It's raining horribly.
It's just downpouring everywhere. We were discussing earlier our rain mishaps this morning. I was walking down Jayhawk Boulevard and then down past Budig and just got splashed with a monsoon of water from a car.
Oh man, I was walking out of class trying to get on the bus, and here comes the bus with a huge puddle. It just sprays me down with water, and I had to go home and change because I was just soaking wet. It was awful.
And the whole point of a bus is to try and avoid the rain, and you get hit right with the rain from the bus.
Exactly, and this is also like the third bus I've seen because the first one ended up just going right past us, even though I had no one on. It's just not been a good day with the weather. But speaking of weather, how is it with rowing? How does this weather incorporate with rowing?
It's kind of funny. Sometimes you can row out in the rain, sometimes you can't. Like yesterday, we had some pretty bad lightning and thunder, and just a wave of black clouds came over the water. So we had to get out of the water pretty fast, I think maybe 45 minutes into practice. But sometimes you can row on the water when it's raining, and it's kind of nice if it's just drizzling because it's really calm. When you're right in the middle of the rain, and so it's really pretty, and you can watch all the little raindrops hit the water. But then other times, I mean, like I've been on the water when I rowed in high school and we had to evacuate, or it starts pouring rain and you have to like row out and the water starts collecting in the boat by your feet.
Really?
And so you have to and then when you roll the boat out of the water, all the water that was in the boat just dumps on you, and then you just have to walk it in like you're not soaking wet.
Oh man, do you ever have boats capsize or just fill up with water and plunge?
It's easier to do that with a small boat. So I've been at a regatta, which is just a fancy word for rowing race, and if you see a single, so a one-person boat, if they catch the water just a little wrong, they can flip the whole boat over. But if you're in an 8 or a 4, it's a little bit more difficult to do because they're so long.
Oh, that's not that bad then.
Yeah. But they look like they're really heavy, and they're not that heavy. They're maybe 200-something pounds.
Really? So you prefer to row in the rain or no?
I like rowing in the rain. It's kind of fun. It's interesting. Like it adds a little bit more spunk to the row. But yeah I don't mind it too much.
Okay, that's not too bad. I used to play soccer in the rain, so like all the sliding and stuff in the mud, it's fun until you're soaking wet and cold, and then you just want to go home.
Right. I used to play soccer, but then when I started getting taller, my ankles were rolling left and right in the uneven terrain, and then I decided that maybe soccer wasn't my calling, and I should try something where my height's a little bit more of an advantage, like basketball and now rowing. So,
okay, so rowing, you found your fit?
Yes, that's where it is. Yeah.
Well then, what else do we have?
Right. Well, that's it for our part, and later we have an interview with Jacob Roberts, who's a KU student, and he is also the field director for Scott Taylor, who's running for mayor of Kansas City. So stay tuned.
Shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
Welcome back. We're here with Jacob Roberts, who's the field director for Scott Taylor's campaign for Kansas City mayor. So Jacob, how'd you get involved in Scott Taylor's campaign?
I got involved because I ended up meeting the campaign manager at a different event. I was working for a different candidate at the time on the Kansas side. So pretty much at that event, they got the opportunity to see the type of work that I do, then got offered the job to be the field director for Scott Taylor.
Awesome. And so what are some of the day-to-day responsibilities of your job?
Yeah, some of the day-to-day responsibilities are driving to Kansas City almost every day from Lawrence, which can be pretty time-consuming on K10. But I manage with Spotify, but when I get there, I pretty much meet with every single canvasser that we have working for us right now, and canvassing is knocking on doors and interacting with people within the district. And then I send those people out to specific areas using an app we use, and then they pretty much knock on doors. So for instance, yesterday In 2 hours, 25 kids got through 850 doors, which is pretty cool.
Wow. And so you mentioned that recently your campaign has received a lot more publicity. What was that about?
Yeah, there's a lot more publicity now, especially because Jason Kander was in the race, and Jason Kander was and still is the president of Let America Vote. Also had a very public and very positive ad on television that went viral. So he was in the race, so then the race received a lot of attention, but he recently had to drop out due to issues with PTSD. So because of that, the campaign has gotten a lot more traction.
And so what have been some of the things that you've had to deal with since all that went down?
There's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff such as strategy and things like that, but generally it's become a lot easier in terms of knocking on doors in Kansas City, because one of the largest answers we were getting when we were knocking on doors was, well, we've already chosen our candidate, which was a little hard to hear over and over again. So it's a little bit easier now, since the kids that are knocking on doors and taking their time to help out with this campaign are getting positive responses now. Nothing against Jason Kander, though. He's a great guy.
And so what would you say drove you to join this campaign?
Well, I've always been around politics. I started off volunteering on campaigns in about 8th grade, and then took 2 jobs over the course of a year, in which I was the field director of a congressional campaign, but wasn't paid or anything like that. So then it's finally, after building the resume a little bit, it finally gravitated to a different point in which now it's much easier for me to pretty much provide services to a campaign because they actually want the services I have to provide, such as field directing.
And is there anything that you want people to know about your campaign?
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to check out the candidate, Scott Taylor, on the website. It's Scott for Mayor, or you could just look up Scott Taylor for Kansas City on Google and it should come up. If you're interested in getting involved in the campaign, you can go to the website and fill out the information there. We do have paid internship opportunities in Kansas City, and a lot of times we carpool to Kansas City to do the canvassing or whatever it is you are interested in doing on the campaign. But we're very, very, very interested in getting as many kids involved within, especially this campaign in Kansas City. It sounds like a long drive, but it's not really.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be back shortly.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Ashley. This is your Good Morning KU news update. After weeks of controversy, Judge Brett Kavanaugh was sworn in as a member of the United States Supreme Court on Saturday. The Senate voted 50-48 in favor of the nomination, locking in a conservative majority on the nation's highest authority.
The Lawrence City Commission will meet tonight to decide whether the age to buy tobacco products should be raised to 21. Nearly 20 municipalities in Kansas have raised the minimum age over the past 12 months. The new law would apply to the selling but not the possession of all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes and devices that vaporize nicotine liquid.
The KU volleyball team pushed its winning streak to 7 with a 4-set victory over Baylor Saturday in Horsch Family Athletic Center. After dropping the first set to the Bears, the Jayhawks fought back behind 19 kills from junior Jada Bursch. KU is now 11-4 overall and 4-0 in the Big 12 Conference, with the number 4 ranked Texas Longhorns coming into town on Wednesday.
The football team hung tough for 3 quarters before eventually falling 38-22 at West Virginia on Saturday. KU's bend but don't break defense forced 3 turnovers in the end zone, but couldn't hold back the Mountaineers in the fourth quarter. Freshman standout Puka Williams was kept out of the end zone and held to 120 all-purpose yards, including a 39-yard kickoff return. KU has a bye week before facing Texas Tech in Lubbock on October 20th.
After losing last year's first ever soccer match with Kansas State, KU got its revenge on Friday night in Manhattan. Juniors Katie McClure and Taylor Christie each scored first half goals, and the Jayhawks defense shut out the Wildcats to even the Sunflower Showdown series at 1 victory apiece. KU will continue conference play at Rock Chalk Park this weekend, hosting TCU on Friday and Texas Tech on Sunday.
And for the first time in Kansas women's tennis history, a doubles team has won the tournament title at the prestigious Riviera ITA All-American Championships. KU seniors Nina Komelnichkaya and Janet Koch defeated the number 17 ranked Stanford team 6-3, 6-2.
That will wrap it up for today's show. Madison is studying for her midterms today, but we have a feeling she's just going to tell us that it's raining. Today we're going to leave you with the live shot of the rain from Lawrence Amtrak Station. Next week is fall break, so we'll see you again in 2 weeks.